Welcome to the Perseverance's journey through Mars, and here in this video, a bright object is following the Perseverance rover. The images you're watching right in front of your screen are all real. And no one exactly knows what that shiny little object is. Meanwhile, we'll also be sneaking into the Belva Crater, the Emerald Lake, Otis Peak, and so much more. It may sound like a fantasy, since such an existence on Mars is worth wondering about. However, NASA's Perseverance rover is exceeding everyone's expectations. This rover is a successor of the Curiosity rover, which landed in August 2012 and is still going strong today. The Perseverance is basically a car-sized Mars probe designed to explore the Jezero crater on Mars as part of NASA's Mars 2020 mission. It was manufactured by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and launched on July 30th, 2020.
10, 9,
8,
7, 6,
5, 4,
3,
2, 1.
0. And liftoff. Perseverance of humanity launching the next generation of robotic explorers to the Red Planet.
It has an intact rectangular body with 6 wheels, a robotic arm, a drill for sampling rocks, cameras, and scientific instruments. All these 7 instruments build on the success of Curiosity, gathering science data in innovative ways. The Perseverance probe has been on Mars since 2020, and its explorations are truly phenomenal.
The Mars 2020 mission, Mars Perseverance, has had a string of firsts. The first sounds from Mars. We can now hear the wind on another world.
Though it's acknowledged, it must haven't been easy digging into the Martian terrain and discovering the Belva craters and all fascinating discoveries. This probe is equipped with Mastercam Z instruments, which is an advanced camera built to detect planetary objects. It has collected a total of 152 images while looking deep into Belva Crater. A large impact crater within the far larger Jezero crater. Digging deeper into the mosaic, the scientists didn't only get to see aesthetically appealing space pictures, but it opened a new chapter of discoveries about the interior of Jezero. The Perseverance probe has explored the typically flat areas of the craters with exposed bedrock. The whole NASA community found the Belva crater too much amusing, since it offers them unique views and vertical cuts that can provide valuable insights into the rock's origins. On Earth, geology professors take students to road cuts, where rocks are exposed vertically for study. Similarly, on Mars, impact craters like Belva serve as natural versions of these road cuts that offer them a unique perspective to study space geology. Moving next, the Perseverance probe has also taken images of a basin on April 22nd near Belva Crater's rim on a rocky area called Echo Creek. This crater is known to have come into existence quite a while ago, formed by a meteorite impact long ago, exposing bedrock and sedimentary layers that angle downward. These downward layers said about the presence of a large Martian sandbar created by sediment deposited by a river channel that once flowed into the ancient lake in Jezero Crater. Scientists even believe that the large boulders in the foreground may be chunks of bedrock revealed by the impact or transported into the crater by a river system. The team is even excited to investigate further by comparing features in the nearby bedrock with the larger rock layers in the distant crater walls. They have created a 3D version of the mosaic called an anaglyph that won't only help in studying geographic visuals, but also offers a captivating view of the Martian landscape. However, while we are discussing the discovery of Belva craters, it'd be pretty cruel to neglect the triumphs and turmoils the Perseverance probe faced while digging into the bedrock. Collecting drill samples certainly made the scientists scratch their heads due to the extremely crumbly nature of the rocks. It raises concerns about the efficiency of the rover's drilling mechanisms and the potential impact on the scientific objectives of the mission. However, With the collaborative efforts of scientists and engineers, the NASA team was able to get maximum real-time data about the Martian surface. Now let's move further. Imagine an ancient river on Mars helps the Perseverance probe do its work. How does it sound like? For sure, the existence of a river on the surface of Mars is totally mind-awakening, but it's the truth that has shocked everybody to the core. This probe has recently collected its 20th rock sample, and scientists are thrilled about the potential discoveries it holds. This particular sample, taken from an area nicknamed Emerald Lake, consists of small rock pieces carried by a river in the ancient past. These rocks fuse together over time, creating conglomerates that can reveal valuable information about distant regions. According to a scientist, the rocks in the Emerald Lake act like a messenger that carries stories from faraway places. Even though the Martian the rover is exploring dried up billions of years ago, the information preserved in conglomerate rock remains unique and fresh. The six-wheeled scientist probe has collected these samples from the Mars Sample Return Campaign, which is a collaborative project of NASA and ESA. The goal is to bring the samples to Earth, where advanced lab equipment can analyze them. However, their latest core sample, named Otis Peak, will provide insights into the age of the rocks, environmental conditions when the conglomerate formed, and the possibility of ancient microbial life. The Otis Peak holds great importance in the geological history of Mars. It's considered quite unique and known to be composed of tiny pieces carried by an ancient river and stuck together over a long time. Even though it's said that the Martian river went dry years ago, the Otis Peak still holds important information about Mars's history. Currently, in its third science campaign, Perseverance is heading towards a low ridge called Snowdrift Peak after sealing and storing the Otis Peak sample. While discovering these ancient rivers and rocks, scientists also seem quite interested in finding boulders along the way, as they may have formed elsewhere and were transported by ancient rivers. But do you really think it is that easy to record Mars history while being on its surface for more than a year, juggling between new explorations and old research? Hell no. While researching its historic geography, the Perseverance probe went lost, and it wasn't for a few hours or minutes, but for 5 freaking days. There was a complete communication blackout. When this happens, everyone at the Mission Control Center on Earth gets really worried. The Mission Control Center is where scientists and engineers manage and receive information from the rover. The scientists and engineers went completely lost in work and strived hard to restore the network since the rover was equipped with extremely latest discoveries. The probe was supposed to lose communication with Ingenuity helicopter. The scientists and engineers discussed different possibilities. Maybe there's a problem with Ingenuity's equipment, or perhaps it encountered some unexpected challenges on Mars, and finally, after 5 days, they were able to restore the communication gap. Imagine the relief those scientists must have felt after getting the rover back. The scientists at Mission Control were overjoyed, and you can picture them cheering, clapping, and celebrating. After the blackout, the Perseverance probe didn't back off, but continued its mission with more enthusiasm this time. While exploring the surfaces of Mars, it has stumbled upon something bizarre, quite strange to ponder about. To be specific, the rover has come across a spaghetti-shaped object, which has made the scientists wonder like a madman. The latest photon shared by NASA is making people question that there must be an Italian restaurant where aliens are partying like crazy. The object isn't really spaghetti, but its tangled spring shape is quite fascinating to observe in such a place where there is nothing but a dark, emptied vacuum. Though what exactly the object is hasn't been discovered yet, scientists say that the thread-like object must be the leftovers from an old Mars mission. Despite that thread-like object, the Perseverance probe once also came across a mysterious bright object that seemed to be following it. It's like seeing something shiny in your backyard and wondering, what is that? However, the team was already trained at that moment to observe unknowingly strange things over the skies, so it didn't create quite a big fuss. But scientists were pretty anxious to find out, what's that shiny, bright object? Could it be the Martian wind playing tricks or some bits of debris floating around? It's a bit like solving a puzzle because they want to understand what's happening on Mars. It's now said that the brightest object hasn't been discovered fully. The mystery still continues since, as the probe moves, the object also moves its way. Some scientists don't even give a damn, saying it might be the tiny rocks or dust floating around in the thin Martian air. Apart from that, the Perseverance probe made another exciting discovery. The rover stumbled upon the rocks with formations that seemed to resemble faces. There has been a wave of speculation among team members about how these face-like formations on Martian rocks might have formed due to geological and weathering processes. Rocks on the surface of Mars are already known to contain important historical data. Thus, these faced features, rocks, were considered quite phenomenal to deal with. The team is curious about how these formations came to be and what they can tell us about Mars's geological history. It's more like the scene, while looking into clouds and supposing hypothetical shapes. Similarly, seeing those faced features, rocks, raises questions about the forces at play on the red planet. Scientists are actively engaged in discussions, exploring various possibilities for the origin of these formations. They consider factors such as erosion, wind, and other environmental processes that could contribute to the rock's unique appearance. Understanding this geological phenomenon is quite necessary for decoding the story written in Mars's rocks and unraveling the mysteries of the planet's ancient past. Another thing that makes them curious about those rocks is that they resonate with our innate curiosity about the possibility of life beyond our planet. While making discoveries, NASA's Perseverance probe made another enticing exploration of markings on rocks that bear a resemblance to lichen found on Earth. This discovery has sparked curiosity among the mission's science team, as lichen-like patterns suggest the possibility of unique geological formations on the Martian surface. The marking seems like a regular pattern, but it presents unique challenges for scientists because they could either be natural features, indigenous to Mars, or byproducts resulting from the rover's operations. Lichen on Earth is a living organism composed of bacteria, fungi, and cyanobacteria, often forming crust-like structures on rocks. The existence of similar-looking markings on Mars could raise fascinating questions about the planet's geological history and possible microbial life. Scientists have engaged in a detailed analysis of the images captured by Perseverance's cameras. They are analyzing the patterns closely to find out the historical surface fuss behind it. The Perseverance probe is still up in the sky, and it will be there until every single secret stone is unturned. So, with that, let's end the video here. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and let us know your thoughts on life on Mars in the comments sections. Happy watching.